kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Welcome everybody into Sim Racing Media tonight. The drivers of the Racers Elite Xfinity Series heads to Kansas for some nighttime racing here on this Wednesday night. Mike Damoni up in the booth as always. These guys are working through race number 5 here in the chase for the Cup. Last week we had a little issues going on, but able to bring home. Daniel Honeycutt was able to bring home the victory, leading 92 laps. Brendan Puffenbarger led 26, but faded back to 6th. That tightened up the standings as far as the championship race goes. Matthew Jarrett finished up in second. Ian Campbell rounded out the top 3. Season standings have Daniel Honeycutt 4 points ahead of Brandon Puffenbarger. Andrew Teft 21 back. Corey Crowell 27 back. So that's how the points stand right now as we move into the qualifying session here. See who's out on track right now. Like Lee Campbell's working his way through his first lap, but like Ira Kohlhaas might be gonna come to the start-finish line of his first flyer. Yo, Joshua, way to check in as always, man. Start finish line for Kohlhaas, and he goes top of the board for the moment with the 31.28. And just as I say that, Kyle Hess has that 86 Chevy rolling now, a 31.07. Like Dennis Kane's rolling out here as well. Coming to that start finish line first time by. 31.45 as Ira Kohlhaas jumps up there with a 30.98. So he'll sit up on top. As Kyle Hess looks like he ran a little bit faster, but not quite fast enough, as he got a 31.02. Lee Campbell, first time by, was a 31.43. Dennis Kane still sitting with that 31.45. We'll see how his second lap comes. Dennis Kane goes top of the board. We'll see if it holds here as Lee Campbell works his way through. It looks like it will. Dennis Kane up there with the 30.87. Craig Bridge rolling through here. Like his first lap. Might have had an issue on that first lap. Didn't count it as a good lap. Coming to the start finish line this time by 32.13, good enough for 6th place. Daniel Honeycutt put that 72 Toyota on the pole once again, 31.81 for the moment anyway. Spencer Hanneman, Matt Leininkugel's number 77 rolling through. We have quite a few drivers left to go. These fields have been growing every week. Hanneman coming through his first time by, 31.95. Joshua Neal with the 31.65. Timothy Hoke with a 31.26. Oh, into that outside wall, so that's probably going to be the end of his run there. Spencer Hanneman trying to close up here as he goes through 3 and 4, coming through that tri-oval. And his time is going to be a little bit faster, 31.31, good enough for 7th place at the moment. Kinsley Smith trying to get that 15 Toyota out here. Coming to the start finish line. First time by was a 30.97. We'll see if he can go a little bit faster the second time by. He gets up there almost on the wall, rolling through down the backstretch, trying to carry as much speed as he can. Gets up almost to 190 miles an hour as he's headed down that backstretch. Coming to 3 and 4 here. Down to the apron. Almost. Looks like he's going to sit P2 right now with a 30.83. Kirby Wayne Scott, that 10 Chevy, finished his 2 laps at the 31.30. Like Andrew Teft is just getting ready to roll by here. Brandon Puffenbarger in that 5 machine. Rolling through. Looks like he might have got a loose gut into that outside wall, and he did, so he's just going to lock it down here. Andrew Teft in that 6 Ford. See what he can do first time by. 31.66. Should be able to get a little more speed out of that Valvoline number 6. Second time by 31.48, so not too much speed out of there. Puffenbarger has 1 lap to get this time in as he heads down the backstretch. Puffenbarger's time's a 31.04, good enough for 6th place. Like Alex Teft is going to come by and finish his first lap here. First lap for Alex is a 31.10. Coming to the start-finish line. Second time by. 31 flat, good enough for 5th. Ian Campbell coming through on his second lap. We'll see what he can do. He is a 31.19, good enough for 9th place. I think we have a couple drivers left to go here. We'll see if they're going to jump out on track or not. If either one elects to jump out. I don't know that they're going to, as there's less than 45 seconds left in the qualifying session here. So Daniel Honeycutt's going to bag himself another pole position. Kinsley Smith just to his outside. See what happens as this race goes on. We are set for 130 laps. They usually cut down the fuel, the percent of fuel load. So these guys will probably be making a couple pit stops as they make their way around this Kansas Speedway. Jump over here to the race session. We'll see if we can get these guys out on track. Daniel Honeycutt takes the pole. Kinsley Smith just to his outside. Dennis Kane and Ira Kohlhaas in row 2. Row 3 is Alex Teft and Kyle Hess. Brandon Puffenbarger and Lee Campbell make up row 4. Row 5 is Ian Campbell and Timothy Hoke. Kirby Wayne Scott and Spencer Hanneman make up row 6. Andrew Teft, Joshua Neal make up row 7. Row 8 is going to be Craig Bridge and Austin John Smith, and it looks like Austin Runkle elected not to give it a go tonight. But we'll see if maybe he jumps in a little bit later. We're just going to start from the pits to try and try and stay out of trouble. Yeah, Austin, I'm pretty sure that's going to be your plan there. Usually see Austin on Tuesday and Thursday nights. It's a rare appearance for him to show up here on Wednesdays in this Xfinity Series car. He elected to start from the back as he didn't throw down a qualifying lap. So we'll see what he can do in that 23 Toyota here. But for the first part of the race, everybody's going to be chasing that 72 Twix machine of Daniel Honeycutt. Lights are out on the pace truck. Field's going to be under control of Daniel Honeycutt as he makes his way to that Geico restart zone. And he is down and away. Got a pretty good start there on Kinsley Smith and Dennis Kane. Kane kind of staying with him there as Honeycutt slides up in front of Kinsley. Here they go through turn number 2. Everybody's kind of spreading out back behind them. You got Dennis Kane, Alex Teft, Ira Kohaas. Ian Campbell kind of threading the needle there a little bit as he slides up in front of Kyle Hester in that 86 machine. Yes, sir. It is based on their qualifying times. Brandon Puffenbarger back here in 8th after losing a couple spots. Kirby Wainscott running pretty well. Austin John Smith already up 4 spots from where he started. Kirby Wainscott looks like he checked the wall a little bit there and is kind of loose in front of Timothy Hoke. Hoke's trying to go inside outside, trying to figure out where Kirby's going to go as they are 3 wide. Joshua Neal, Spencer Hanneman, and Hoke there. Austin Smith trying to get to the outside of Andrew Teft. But the fastest man on track right now is the 43 Ford of Alex Teft, running a 31.25. Sitting back there just a little bit. And just as I say that, Kinsley Smith gets out in front and runs a 31.20 that time by. Oh no, he didn't miss showing up for qualifying, but he definitely did not have the qualifying lap that he should have had. He's running faster now than he did in qualifying. Andrew's up 3 spots, sitting P10 right now. Lee Campbell to his outside as they go side by side there. Austin John Smith tucks in behind Teft and is going to try and push him out in front of Puffenbarger. Joshua Neal looks like he sees that line and he's going to try and stay with those guys as well as Smith slides up in front of Teft. Well, that's not Teft. That's Lee Campbell. We cannot have 2 Valvoline cars. But Austin John Smith trying to make his way through. Brandon Puffenbarger seems to like that high line there as he's staying up there, not really going down too much. Like he's been able to keep quite a little bit of speed in that machine there. Kyle Hess down 1 spot, but still running pretty well here. Ian Campbell, Ira Kohaas. It looks like Austin Smith goes down to the inside. He's going to make that pass on Andrew Teft and put the 2 Valvoline cars in his rear view mirror. Slides up behind Puffenbarger. Puffenbarger comes down. Looks like he's trying to find a line that he can get a little more speed out of. Andrew Teft and Lee Campbell. Battle of the Valvoline machines. Joshua Neal goes clear down to the bottom. Going to try and make a pass. He's carrying a lot of speed through the corner. See if he's going to be able to keep it as he slides through the tri-oval. Like he will clear Lee Campbell, but just barely. Kinsley Smith is starting to check out right now. He's over a second in front of Daniel Honeycutt, Dennis Kane about a half back. But Kane and Alex Teft are going to start probably battling a little bit, as Teft is a little bit faster on some laps, and Kane just comes back and takes all of that right back. Andrew Teft goes to the bottom side. Is going to get past Austin Smith there as they're still battling side by side. Puffenbarger just in front of them. Neal and Hoke behind him. 11 laps into this 130 lap race. Looks like Neal went from the high side clear down to the low side. Going to try and get more speed in there as Hoke's into the wall. That's going to lose a spot to Neal and maybe to Spencer Hanneman here, as Spencer goes down to the bottom side as well. Now it looks like Austin Smith might have had a little bobble there, as he was racing up there with Andrew Teft, and now he is fading back. Looks like he's losing a little bit of speed here. Go back up towards the front, and Ira Kohlhaas was able to get by Dennis Kane, and it looks like Kinsley Smith had a problem there, as he is fading back pretty quickly. Let's see what happened here. We'll roll it back here and take a look. Everything looks all right there for Kinsley. Looks like Honeycutt just has a lot of speed. Oh. Yeah, it doesn't. Oh, there you go. Check the wall just a little bit. It caused him to fade back. He's still dropping positions. Now he's back to 8th. Brandon Puffenbarger was able to get by. Back up front, though. Daniel Honeycutt, Alex Teft, Ira Kohlhaas, Dennis Kane. We have Kyle Hess and Ian Campbell working together. We got a whole group of guys back here. Lee Campbell, Joshua Neal, Andrew Teft, Kinsley Smith, Spencer Hanneman, Austin John Smith. So that's on board with Smith. We'll jump up to the leader, Daniel Honeycutt. Honeycutt's almost going to have his hands full with Alex Teft. Alex is making a strong push here. He's up 3 spots from where he started. Like he's going to try and go to the outside, make this pass here on Honeycutt. Just can't quite get there. Honeycutt still has a little bit more speed. Now Honeycutt's back out to 0.4 of a second, almost a whole half second now. Our Kohlhaas rolling through here. Like Dennis Kane's losing a few spots as he fades back through the field. Puffenbarger, Joshua Neal, Dennis Kane, and Andrew Teft. If we go on board with Teft, see how he's driving to make it around this track. There he goes down the backstretch. Looks like he's closing in a little bit there on Dennis Kane. Austin Smith not too far back. Dennis Kane's trying to hang on, but Honeycutt is out to almost 0.8 of a second as Alex Teft looks like he got into that outside wall trying to run that high line. 29 of Ira Kohlhaas up to P2 now. Still about a second back from Honeycutt. Kansas Speedway is, 1.5 mile track. Turns are banked from 17 to 20 degrees. Backstretch is only 5. Tri-ovals 9 to 11 degree banking, so you can kind of see they're able to carry their speed pretty well through there. Looks like everybody's fallen off pretty quickly on their tires. We'll see how far these guys elect to take this first run. Usually here in the Xfinity series, they have to make a couple pit stops. So I'd imagine we're probably going to make it somewhere around lap 40, maybe a little less. For the guys that are going to try and make just 3 stops, if the guys are going to make 4, they probably will wind up coming in 33 to 35. So within the next 9 laps or so, I'm sure we'll see what strategy is going to come through these drivers' minds here. See who the biggest mover of the race is going to be right now. Joshua Neal. He's up 6 spots. Like Dennis King came down pit lane, was our first driver to take that option here on lap 27. We'll see what's going to happen here as they roll on through. Looks like Kinsley Smith comes down pit lane as well. Austin Smith coming in. Kirby Wainscott, Craig Bridge out here working through lap 28 or 29. It is a pretty tight points battle here. Got just a few weeks left of the season. Basically 5 races including tonight. Got Homestead next week, Iowa Auto Club, and close it out at Texas. Tomorrow night we'll be back here at Kansas for round number 3 of the Next Gen Series chase for the Cup. And then we also close it out at Homestead, Iowa Auto Club, and Texas. Uffenbarger trying to close in on Ian Campbell. Uffenbarger goes a little higher. Let's see if he can get a better run coming through 1 and 2. Joshua Neal headed down pit lane. Ira Kohlhaas makes that turn down as Ian Campbell and Lee Campbell both do as well. That's going to leave like 9 drivers that haven't pitted yet. Daniel Honeycutt leading them. Alex Teft a couple seconds back. Kyle Hess right on his back bumper there. Go back to Brandon Puffenbarger. Andrew Teft hanging out as Puffenbarger heads down pit lane. Spencer Hanneman, Craig Bridge, Timothy Hoke, and Kirby Wainscott. I'm assuming they're all going to probably come down pretty quickly. So Honeycutt coming in, Alex Teft in, Kyle Hess. See if Andrew Teft is going to make that left-hand turn and come down pit lane, and it looks like he will. Probably see Kirby Wainscott do the same. Yep, Kirby Wainscott down. Brendan Puffenbarger trying to get up to speed as all these drivers are going by him on the outside. Ira Kohlhaas basically has the race lead right now. Daniel Honeycutt just exiting the pits right at the moment. Take him a while to get around turn 1 and 2 and hit that blue cone so he can jump out onto the racing surface. So he is back in 6th place after waiting a couple laps to come in. So as everybody has made their pit stop and cycled through, we're going to step aside here. We'll go side by side. You won't miss anything. We'll be back after this. Welcome back, everybody, to the Racers Elite Xfinity Series on Sim Racing Media. Everybody has made their first pit stop. Ira Kohlhaas is out here leading the race. Brendan Puffenbarger making the pass on Joshua Neal to get up into second. Daniel Honeycutt going to follow him through to get P3. Joshua Neal up 10 spots after not qualifying where he wanted to, but had a little pit strategy, pitted a little early before almost anybody else, and was able to make that work as he is now P4. Ian Campbell up 4 spots to P5. Kyle Hess went up a little ways, but is now sitting right where he started the race in P6. Lee Campbell up 1, and after making that late pit stop call, Alex Teft is down 3. Austin John Smith up 7 spots, running P9, and Dennis Kane rounds out that top 10. So we know the pit window. Most laps you can run is 35. So we'll see you guys getting there. Pit stop somewhere around, I'd say lap 70 would probably be about where they want to be, 69 or so. Some of the guys that came in early, they're going to have to hope they can extend one of their runs to try and make up for missing or leaving a couple laps left on track. But Ira Kohlhaas is driving away from the field a little bit here. Brandon Puffmarger is trying to close in. It looks like he's doing it, but not very quickly, as he is still 3 seconds back. Daniel Honeycutt about a half second back from Puffenbarger. Kohlhaas last pitted on lap 33. Puffenbarger 34. Honeycutt 35. The fastest lap here was in 2019 as NASCAR Xfinity Series car with a 30.796 by Tyler Reddick. And that's the fastest race lap. Fastest qualifying lap. Gonna have to go clear back to like 2015 and Matt Kenseth with a 29.204. Nobody's come close to that tonight. That gap is getting smaller from Brandon Puffenbarger to Ira Kohlhaas. Kohlhaas is now out by only a little over 2 seconds. He does have a lap car between him and Puffenbarger here. Back, see what we can see here. Looks like the Campbells are battling back here for 6th and 7th. Ian Campbell down on the low side, Lee Campbell on the high side. Alex Teff still hanging tough back here in 8th spot. Austin Smith in 9th. Kinsley Smith riding out P10. Andrew Teff just outside the top 10, sitting P11, still up 2 spots from where he qualified. Spencer Hanneman in the Leininkugel's Summer Shandy paint scheme once again. Dennis Kane looks like he's kind of having a little bit of a rough go at it at the moment. Qualified pretty well, just doesn't seem to quite have Kansas figured out, which I can definitely be with him on that one. Haas out here almost running by himself at the moment, but Puffenbarger is closing in. He got around the lapped car of Kirby Wainscott. Now he has his sights firmly set on Haas. See if Ira's going to keep the same pit window. If he does, he'll be coming down in about 10 laps, whereas Puffenbarger will probably wait a couple more and come down then. And if you guys are tuning in on the YouTube channel, thank you very much for doing so. Again, leave a like, comment, tell me who you like, who you think's going to win here, as we are getting close to that halfway point. Kinsley Smith coming down, Austin John Smith also down. Rojas is going to have a few more laps left. Puffenbarger is closing in. He's one of the faster cars on track. Daniel Honeycutt looks like he is the fastest car on track, running a 32.69. They haven't quite fallen off as much as they did in that first stint. The first stint, almost everybody was in the 33s running out here. But these guys are still in that sub 33 mark, so haven't lost near as much grip as they did in that first stint. If you are watching out there, the drivers that are in blue on the ticker as it strolls by are the guys battling for that championship. I said earlier, Puffenbarger and Honeycutt are only separated by 4 points, so anything they can do to kind of get more points over one another is going to be monumental when you're talking about the chase and it's only being 4 points. I mean, you know, you miss a shift and you lose 3 or 4 positions, and that's going to be the end of that pretty quickly as far as, you know, the championship run. You don't want to make any mistakes as you go through there. Our Koha still hanging out here. A little over a half-second lead over Puffenbarger. Puffenbarger about the same to Honeycutt. Kyle Hess getting closer to 2 seconds back of Honeycutt. But he's got a pretty good cushion back to the biggest mover of the race, which is Joshua Neal. Joshua Neal's running about 3 seconds back of Hess. We got quite the little gap here, and then we'll go back and take a look here. Towards the mid-pack, inside the top 10. Dennis Kane coming down pit lane. Andrew Teff, Spencer Hanneman, 9th and 10th. They're kind of spread out a little bit, and Alex is in front of Andrew. Andrew is up 4 spots from where he started. Puffenbarger up in P2's up 5 spots. We'll see which drivers try and stay out a little bit longer here. I think Kohlhaas is, if he runs the same stint he ran the first time, will be coming down here in about 3 laps. Puffenbarger will probably wait about 5. I think it's going to be basically a pretty tight race from the top 4. Except for, I don't see Crowell here tonight. So if Honeycutt, Puffenbarger, and Andrew Teff don't miss any races, it's going to be a battle between those 3 drivers. Andrew Teff is 21 points behind Daniel Honeycutt, but the difference between Honeycutt and Puffenbarger is, like I said, 4 points. So we'll see how that shakes out as this rest of the season goes on. We got tons of action here as Ira Kohlhaas comes down pit lane. Joshua Neal, Timothy Hoke also in as well. But if you are watching here on Sim Racing Media, we got about half of the race left to go in this Racers Elite Xfinity Series. And after that, if you want to flip on over, we've got some Moonshiners Racing League going on there in the playoffs. You also have the opportunity to watch the Roughneck Racing League. So tons of action here on this Wednesday night. But if you tune into Sim Racing Media tomorrow night, the only show in town is going to be the Racers Elite Next Gen Series from Kansas. They run a little bit longer, but I think it's 134 laps tomorrow in the Next Gen cars. Still battling for that championship cup there. Looks like Puffenbarger's going to come down here on lap 68, Honeycutt as well. We'll see if Lee Campbell stays out or if he's going to come on in and get that machine fixed up. He stays out one more lap. He last pitted on lap 33, so he's got to be getting close to the end of his mark here. Alex Teft, Andrew Teft, Kirby Wainscott, all those drivers last pitted on lap 35, so we'll see if they're going to stay out and make it to that lap 70 mark. It looks like they probably will as they go by Honeycutt and Puffenbarger. Campbell comes down. We'll see if Alex Teft, looks like he lets Joshua Neal go by. Going to stay out one more lap here. Lee Campbell comes in. See if Andrew Teft, stays out. So Teft and Teft stay out. He is probably going to make that left-hand turn and come down pit lane. I'm assuming, yep, Alex Teft is as well. We'll see if Kirby Wainscott does. Wainscott's coming down the backstretch. Like he is going to pull down. Our co-host flies by him like he was standing still there to get back to the front of the field here. Looks like Puffenbarger is out of his pit stall. But he will probably be, yeah, it looks like he just slides up in front of Austin Smith there. So he's up 13 spots right now. He's on a different pit strategy than almost everybody else, as he last pitted on lap 56. Puffenbarger last pitted on lap 68. Kohlhaas 66. Like Honeycutt made his way around Austin Smith there. Joshua Neal running top 5. Neal gets by Austin Smith there. Welcome back, everybody, to the Racers Elite Xfinity Series on Sim Racing Media. Didn't miss anything while we were gone. Everybody pretty much is running where they were. We'll do a quick rundown of the field. As you see, Alex Teft go down to the inside, going to try and pass Dennis Kane there. And looks like he will do it, slide up in front. that, let's jump up to the front. Brandon Puffenbarger just made the pass on Ira Kohlhaas. To take over the lead. Kohlhaas up a couple spots. Running P2 at the moment. Daniel Honeycutt from North Carolina hanging out in P3. Joshua Neal made a pretty big move up 10 spots, running P4. Gonna have his hands full momentarily with Kyle Hess. Kyle Hess was running towards the front at the beginning part of this race a little ways, and then has been stuck back here in 5th and 6th position. Austin John Smith back there in 6th, up 10 spots. Go up here and look at these guys battle side by side. Pretty much crossed each other over. Ian Campbell running P7. Like he's going to try and go to the inside of Austin Smith, try and make a move there. Lee Campbell. Working his way up here a little bit. Running currently right where he started the race. Kinsley Smith, not the way this North Carolina man wanted to run tonight. Started outside row 1 and now has faded back to P9. Alex Teft running P10 down 5 spots. Dennis Kane down 8. Not really where he wanted to be either. Andrew Teft is up 1 spot. Running P12. Spencer Hanneman down 1, running P13. Craig Bridge, series debut here, running P14, up 1 spot. Kirby Wayne Scott back in 15th. Timothy Hoke in 16th. Austin Smith made his way down pit lane once again. He's running a completely different strategy than everybody else here. So Puffenbarger up 6 spots is trying to make this the second half of the race a lot better than it was for his first half. Ira Kohlhaas had some speed midway through the race. Just kind of to lose a little bit here as he's running 32.70s, where Honeycutt and Puffenbarger are running 32.3s to 32.4s. So with the way Ira's been running, probably come down about 10 laps to get his final pit stop. Trying to make it to lap 99. It seems to be a pretty good strategy as he winds up pitting just before everybody else and gets enough speed in that car in order to go back out front. So we'll see if that's going to be what he elects to do one more time. Everybody else is staying out a couple more laps than he did. And it seems to cost him a little bit in the run but maybe he'll stay out an extra lap and try and make it a little harder for these guys in front of him to catch him here. It looks like it didn't take him quite a full run to get caught up to him, but if anybody can do it, I'm going to say Ira can work that pit strategy. But right now out front, Honeycutt and Puffenbarger are running 1-2 on track and 1-2 in the championship standings. Look for a little more battles on track. Looks like this one here is the only real close one. Everybody else is a second or so apart. Got Lee Campbell and Ian Campbell here. That's starting to spread out a little bit as well. Dennis Kane trying to close in to Andrew Teft, but Teft has just a little bit of speed there. And Dennis Kane just can't seem to quite find what he can to catch up to him. Kinsley Smith down pit road. Austin Smith came down pit road on lap 84. I'm pretty sure. I know he can't make it to the end, so he's going to be making another pit stop. But I don't know when he'll elect to try and do that. I know we've seen guys make it 35, 36 laps on a fuel run, and the way this race is going, we're not going to have any of those yellow slowdown things. But Poffenbarger is out to a 2 3/4 lead right now over Honeycutt. Looks like Honeycutt's just kind of rolling through here. I mean, I wouldn't want we'll have to see if anybody tries to stay in the field here. So we're working lap 96. Let's say Ira's going to come down in a couple laps. Let's say he's going to try to get lap 99 or 100 just so he can make sure he has enough fuel in case something does happen. Spencer Hanneman down to the inside, out of the way, trying to let Ira go past, and he will. Joshua Neal just in front of the Campbells. Austin Smith trying to make his way by both of them. Smith is a lap down, so not for position on track as Joshua Neal heads down pit lane. Ira Kohlhaas comes down. Puffenbarger still staying out. Last pit on lap 68, so probably make it a couple more laps here before he heads down pit lane. We'll see what happens when they cycle through. Honeycutt comes down. Kyle Hess comes down. Puffenbarger still stays out. Puffenbarger heading in. Ian Campbell in. We'll see if Alex Teft comes in or if he's going to stay out and try and run a couple laps here. He will stay out. Puffenbarger, Campbell, Teft all coming in. Alex Teft staying out. Puffenbarger back out on track. Austin Smith making his way around Puffenbarger here. So he will have effectively the race lead momentarily. But Austin's going to have to come down pit road at least one more time at some point. But Puffenbarger will not. Honeycutt won't. So, a little bit of a gamble there as they're working through here. Andrew Teft just coming out of the pits there. Fighting to get his lap back the hard way, really. He will do that. And Brandon Puffenbarger now has, like Austin just moved out of the way and let Puffenbarger go by. So Puffenbarger and Honeycutt are going to be battling out here at the end of the race. There's a little hiccup there. Ira Kohlhaas pitted one lap before Honeycutt, 2 before Puffenbarger. So he is trying to get all the speed he can out of that 29 machine. But it might be just a little bit too little too late. Puffenbarger and Honeycutt are going to be battling pretty tight here. As we're getting by Dennis Kane. Looked like Puffenbarger got into that outside wall a little bit, going to slow him down. Honeycutt's trying to decide if he's going to have a little too much speed to get behind Kane, and looks like he will. He'll stay up high with Puffenbarger coming through the tri-oval. Puffenbarger, Honeycutt within 0.2 of a second of each other as they both clear Kane and are now basically has clear racetrack in front of him. Andrew Teft is in front of him, but Andrew's running a little bit faster lap times than Puffenbarger and Honeycutt at the moment. If these two keep it up, they're going to be battling all the way through Texas for the championship here in the Racers Elite Xfinity Series. Kirby Wainscott came down pit lane. Puffenbarger 3/10 clear. They're getting closer to that 20 to go mark. Little bit of a battle back here between Alex Teft and Kinsley Smith. Both of them just inside that top 10. Alex Teft staying up in that high line is able to get more speed out of that Aflac 43 Ford there. As they both almost hit that outside wall. Kinsley Smith slides up trying to follow his line. And looks like both of them got a little bit loose there. Kinsley lost a little bit of speed. See if Andrew Teft can close in and get inside that top 10. But Andrew is also in the danger zone here as Puffenbarger and Honeycutt are closing in. Ira Kohlhaas is trying to get some more speed out of that 29 Chevy, just hasn't been able to do it at the moment. Kyle Hess back in fourth. About almost 3 seconds back of Kohlhaas and 4.5 ahead of Austin John Smith. Austin's going to have to come down pit lane. He last pitted on lap 84, so he definitely does not have enough to make it to the end. Now, it looks like Puffenbarger might have found a little more speed to put in that 5 forward here. He's got that MVP roofing and restoration machine looking good out here up front. You didn't miss much, Sarah. Everybody made pit stops. Everybody raced clean. Andrew Teft is about to go a lap down now as Puffenbarger has found some speed in that number 5 Chevy there. Daniel Honeycutt needs to get some speed in the 72 Twix machine, as he is now a second back of Puffenbarger. Doesn't really have anybody pushing him from behind, as Ira Kohlhaas is 2.5 back, but Honeycutt looks like he got into that outside wall just a little bit. Dennis Kane coming in behind him. 16 laps to go. And that gap has just almost doubled within a lap. And now Puffenbarger really doesn't see anybody on board here with Puffenbarger. as that gap has grown to over 2 seconds. He is closing in on putting Kinsley Smith a lap down. Kinsley had one of his best qualifying efforts starting outside row 1, but just didn't quite have the speed in that number 15 Aaron's Dream Machine. That's going to leave 8 cars on the lead lap for the moment. Come back to Daniel Honeycutt, take a look from the nose of his machine there. That points battle is definitely going to heat up here. Points between them are definitely going to tighten up. If the results stay the way they're running right now, we will have a tie for the championship after this race here. Daniel Honeycutt getting a little loose there, coming out of 1 and 2, heading down the backstretch. That's about a second and a half to give there, back to Ira Kohlhaas. Nine laps to go. And Honeycutt's trying to hold on for the moment here. He gets into that outside wall one more time. Ira Kohlhaas, being that must kind of want to try and get up there, as he's going to have Kyle Hess trying to close in on him, trying to get up to the podium here. Red, white, and blue Bass Pro Shops 86 Chevy is running pretty well up 2 spots right now. Biggest mover of the race is still Joshua Neal. Started outside the top 10 and is up 8 spots, running P6 right now. 7 laps to go here. Jump back up front. It is all Puffenbarger. Honeycutt trying to battle back around Kinsley Smith there. Honeycutt's still trying to get that high line to get a little more speed out of that machine. Just can't quite do it here. Ira Kohlhaas gets by Dennis Kane there. Still has Kyle Hess behind him a little ways, almost a half second now. Four laps to go for Puffenbarger. Honeycutt has to just keep that machine under him and stay there in second. This Puffenbarger is not slowing down at all. Three laps to go. Popsicle sticks in the air. Brandon Puffenbarger has just 2 laps to get through. Daniel Honeycutt going to try and hold his way into second here and maintain at least a tie for the lead for the Wednesday night Xfinity series here at Racers Elite. Final lap. That 5 Chevy kind of rode around mid-pack early in the race. Made a couple pit stops, and now he has set sail. And Brandon Puffenbarger is going to win here at Kansas. Daniel Honeycutt's going to hold on for second. Ira Kohlhaas will round out the podium. Kyle Hess closed pretty quickly to get onto his back bumper there to finish fourth. Lee Campbell, Joshua Neal, Ian Campbell, Alex Teft, Andrew Teft, and Kinsley Smith rounds out that top 10. See, we can get third place up here in the booth. Well, doesn't look like he's made it in here yet. Oh, there he is. Ira, Mike up in the booth. How's it going, man?
Oh, it's going, man. How you doing?
Not too bad. It looked like you had a little bit of different pit strategy there to try and get some track position. Just didn't quite work out. You still brought home a P3. How was the racing out there?
Yeah, the first stage was great. My car felt good, and then about halfway through that second stage, I guess once the track started cooling off and the ambient temperature started getting cooler, it was like driving a dump truck out there. I scraped the wall in 4 or 5 times, and I was turning to the left as hard as I could. I'm surprised I didn't knock the wall down off of 4, but we live and learn for tomorrow night in the next gen cars. Hopefully they don't get as tight, because I can't stand a tight race car.
Yeah, definitely. You'll have to do a little figuring for when it gets a little colder, but looked like you were not the only one having that issue, as we saw a few drivers check that outside wall a couple times, but you got out here in that 29 Chevy and was able to bring home a P3. Anybody want to thank before I get you out of here tonight?
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely got to thank my wife Callie and my 2 daughters, Raina and Clara. I got to thank Lolly and Pop. They watch just about everything that I send them the link to, and got to thank Randy and Jennifer Sellers from RJS Automotive. Thank Matthews for making the best bow that's out there on the market, and thanks to all my buddies that were out here watching tonight. Hopefully they'll tune in tomorrow night for a little bit better of a show. You know, them 2 that was out front, they just had such good long run speed, and congratulations to them.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats again on your P3 finish, and I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
You too. Let's see if we can bring Daniel up here in the booth. Daniel, Mike up in the booth. How's it going?
Pretty good, Mike. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Well, you didn't win the race, but you still are going to come out of here. I believe you and Brandon are both going to be tied for the points lead in the championship. How was the racing out there?
It was all right. A little disappointed with that, but it is what it is. Brandon is a great driver anyways, but I don't know. You get behind one of those cars, you get a little tight, hit the wall a couple of times. You can't carry any speed after that. Tried it at the end on that last run. I tried to push a little bit too hard just to see if I couldn't get in front of them, maybe hold them off, but it didn't work out. So it is what it is, and I'm proud of second, though. Can't complain. Being tied in the points pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, looked like you were trying everything you could to get a little more speed out of that Toyota. There, just couldn't quite maintain the corner. Like you said, you get a little loose or a little tight and wind up sliding up the track enough. And, you know, Brandon just is lights out usually anyway.
Yeah, especially on these mile and a halves.
Well, you got 4 races left. You guys are gonna probably battle out pretty tight. Looks like Andrew's probably down quite a few in the points now. So, without any mistakes from you two, it's going to be interesting to see who can come out on top. But with that being said, anybody want to thank before I get you out of here tonight?
Just the same people as usual, just you guys and everything that y'all do for this. And I want to thank Brandon for always racing me clean. And it's been a fun season so far, and I would not be surprised if we somehow tie at the end of the season. We have to do like a tiebreaker race where it's just me and him at like Daytona or something.
Yeah, I gotta find Brandon's worst track, and that's where you go, right? Go to Nashville Fairgrounds or something.
Oh yeah, Nashville Fairgrounds. That's the one I like right there.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you later, Daniel.
All right, I'll see you later, Mike. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, let's get Brandon up here in the booth. Brandon, Mike up in the booth. How's it going, man?
Not too bad.
Well, the first part of the race, you were kind of hanging out mid-pack or thereabouts, and then once it turned night, you just drove away from the field.
Yeah, that first run had me worried a little bit. I was trying to move up through the field there, and I think the arrow was just messing with me until I could get them spread out and attack them one by one.
Yeah, it definitely looked almost like 2 different races, but you got out in front and you drove away. Looks like you're going to come out of here probably tied with the points lead with Daniel there. So it'll be a tight battle for the rest of the season. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good about the championship. I think it'll be close between me and Daniel the rest of the way. There's a couple tracks that I'm really good at here ending the season, so I like my chances.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats again on your victory here. Anybody want to thank before I get you out of here tonight?
Just you for putting the broadcast on, the guys for putting the league on, and the guys for coming out. It was a good race tonight.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats once again on your victory, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, 10-4.
All right. Well, that will do it here for the interviews. We'll go ahead and run down the race here. We got Brandon Puffenbarger, Daniel Honeycutt, Ira Kohlhaas rounding out those top three. Kyle Hess hangs on to be P4, trying to close in on Ira Kohlhaas, just a little short there. Lee Campbell, Joshua Neal, Ian Campbell, Alex Teft, Andrew Teft, Kinsley Smith rounds out the top 10. Austin Smith brings home P11. Dennis Kane, Spencer Hanneman, Kirby Wainscott, Craig Bridge, and Timothy Hoke round out the drivers that took part in the race tonight. So with that being said, we'll head tomorrow. We'll be back here with the Racers Elite in the next gen cars for 134 laps of more fun and excitement. We'll see if anybody is going to be able to dominate the race like Brandon Puffenbarger did tonight. But from all of us here at Sim Racing Media and all the drivers of the Racers Elite Xfinity Series, I want to say good night, and I will see you next time.